Oh, this one, right? 365?
Why she didn't,
Or this
they didn't
one?
talk about it before since they were together.
I thought it was
Why
365.
they didn't talk together about that? Well, we need,
Hopefully she likes it.
Yeah, she's got some of her friends.
We have a bi-weekly call with her on Wednesday, but it'll be too late
I'm putting my password in.
because she said she's gonna do it over the weekend.
Thank you.
well, I
Is
will,
Tim in the office on Fridays normally?
I mean, there's been time where I didn't see him at all, so.
Let's call him.
Testing.
Okay, you're on. Okay, thank you. Good afternoon. The date is August 7th, 2025, and the time is 5:03 p.m. I hereby call to order the meeting of the Planning and Zoning Board of the City of Groveland, Florida. Thank you for joining us for the city's P&Z Board meeting. On behalf of myself, the Vice Chair, all board members, and staff, we hope you and your families are well. All votes will be received by roll call vote. For board discussion, I will call on each board member individually to avoid members talking over one another. We will also be taking public comment during the meeting as well. At this time, Maria, will you please call the roll?
Roll call is, starting with Chair Zach Decker,
Here?
Vice Chair Robin Hoover. Here. Board Member Carrie Lambert,
Here.
Board Member Stephen Shakowski, Board Member Alicia Kissy Garcia,
Here.
Board Member Lindsey Crum,
Here.
Board Member Michael Archer,
Here.
non-voting member Bill Mathias, he's absent. Community and Economic Development Director Tim Maslow, City Attorney Anita Gerasi Carver,
Here.
Recording Secretary Maria Ramirez, here.
Thank you, Maria. We have a quorum. We will now stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, Maria, will you please read the consent agenda item?
Consideration of approval for the July 16th, 2025 Planning and Zoning Board meeting minutes.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to accept the consent agenda item?
I'll accept for your motion to consent the agenda minutes item.
I'll second it.
All right, sounds like it's Friday already. Okay, we have a motion and a second. I'll call for the votes. Robin?
Aye.
Carrie?
Aye.
Lindsay?
Aye.
Alicia? Michael? Aye. And chair votes aye. Okay, new business. Moving on to new business, we have item 1, the recommendation of approval. That's what it says here, recommendation of approval on ordinance 2025-20. Maria, will you please read the title?
Recommendation of approval on ordinance 2025-20, Cherry Lake Village PUD amendment. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Groveland, County of Lake, State of Florida, amending ordinances 2002-07 32B, 2017-12-38, the PUD for estates at Cherry Lake relating to the development of the hereafter described lands within the City of Groveland, Florida, owned by Orsi Development, Inc. and Sunfield Homes, Inc., located at the Cherry Lake Trail and Wilson Lake Parkway, Groveland, Florida, amending the development plan relating to the Village Center, providing for directions to the city manager, providing for severability, providing for an effective date.
Thank you. Mr. Jones.
Good afternoon, P&Z board members. This is a nice mic here. I will be presenting the Cherry Lake Village PUD Amendment, Ordinance 2025-20. The applicant is ETM, which is England, Timms, and Miller. The existing future land use is established neighborhood. The existing zoning is PUD, and they're requesting to amend their existing PUD to develop 202 single-family homes, 71 townhomes, and add 1.10 acres of commercial space. It is located at the northwest intersection of Wilson Lake Parkway and Cherry Valley Trail, just north of Cherry Lake Road and south of US Highway 27. Both parcels are approximately 83.28 plus minus acres. So we have a comparison slide to show what the existing entitlements are for the property compared to what the proposed entitlements will be. As you can see on the left, this is the existing conceptual plan for the Estates at Cherry Lake. For this site, they have 229 single-family units, 100 multifamily units, 50,000 square foot of office space, and 175,000 square foot of commercial space. The proposed entitlements for the new conceptual plan shows 202 single-family units, 71 townhomes, no office uses are being proposed at this site, and 10,000 square foot of commercial space. So in regards to the permitted uses for the commercial part of the project, it's pretty much the same as the proposed, what they're proposing. I won't list all of them, but just a few of them you can see are drugstores, banks, clothing stores, health services, gift shops, florists, daycares. Most of these are pretty neighborhood scale type of retail services for this site. So the existing PUD provided some illustrations and kind of a foresight of what they kind of envision for this location. As you can see, it's very urbanized with some commercial retail along the first floor and then the living spaces on the second and third floors. So this is our comprehensive plan policy slide. It will show the ones that we are in favor for, the ones that has kind of like mixed reviews, and then the ones that we're not in favor for. So according to policy 1.1D, it states that the city shall enhance existing neighborhoods by encouraging a variety of housing types and mobility options. The proposed amendment shows that they are providing that. The amendment introduces townhomes, single-family homes, which increases housing diversity within an established neighborhood. The one that has mixed applicability is policy 1.10, and it says the future land use map shall designate sufficient land area for the residential land uses according to a pattern which promotes neighborhood cohesiveness and identity, sustainable development principles, and which enables efficient provision of public facilities and services. The proposed amendment aligns with Policy 1.0 by providing additional residential housing types and addresses housing needs within the established neighborhood land use. However, the significant reduction of commercial acreage may reduce opportunities for neighborhood cohesiveness and mixed-use design. The policy does present mixed applicability, and the city acknowledges that final determinations on community preference will be informed with the public hearing process. The comprehensive policy that we're not in favor of, that I will get to in 1 second once it goes to the next slide. One second. There we go. This is policy 1.1E, and it states that the city shall discourage urban sprawl to reduce land consumption and service extensions by focusing growth in mixed-use neighborhoods and employment centers. The substantial reduction of commercial space kind of undermines the mixed-use intent of the PUD amendment. Policy 1.1T states the city shall maintain an energy-efficient land use pattern and shall promote the use of transit and alternative methods of transportation that decreases reliance on automobile. The reduction in the commercial area to approximately 1.10 acres diminishes opportunities for walkable neighborhood service amenities, potentially increasing reliance on automobiles. And then this slide we have is for the community meeting. It was taking place here at the Puryear Building on May 21st of this year. We thought it was important that the community was informed about this project before it went through the public hearing process to kind of get their engagement and opinions and feedback of their concerns, if they had any with the project. Most of those concerns had to deal with more commercial acreage for the neighborhood scale retail services in the community, a pedestrian-friendly environment in regards to safer streets, traffic calming measures that they didn't really have in the existing neighborhoods. They wanted to make sure with the new proposed conceptual plan that they were catering to a more pedestrian-friendly environment. And then the open spaces being amenitized. So with their project, staff, part of the discussion we had with developers is making sure that they meet our community code requirements in regards to open spaces being amenitized. I'm not sure if you've been in any of the other neighborhoods in the communities like Bellevue and Southern Ridge. They don't have the same open space types. That's kind of what you would like to see, that are amenitized. So that was another one of their concerns with the project moving forward. So at this time, we have the applicant here to present and provide a presentation, and then we'll come back at the end and talk about our recommendation.
Okay, thank you. Does the applicant wish to make a presentation?
Oh, you're talking about the mouse?
Yeah.
Mouse, should just, I'm sorry.
Oh, gotta adjust it for your height. Okay. Okay. Hi. Good afternoon, Chair and members of the P&Z Board. I'm Carolyn Haslam with Ackerman. I'm here on behalf of the applicant. My address for the record is 420 South Orange Avenue, Suite 1200 in Orlando. I wanted to thank staff for their presentation. Our presentation is intended just to give a little bit more fine-tune and details related to our proposal. We also have my client and its consultant to answer any questions that you or the public may have. As Dwayne mentioned, this is south of the Turnpike and between 2719, more specifically, it's the intersection of Cherry Valley Trail and Wilson Lake Parkway. The notched area is the existing fire station, and this is immediately adjacent to the Cherry Lake Park and the, I assume, is going to open next Monday, preparatory school. Of course, the land use, existing land use is established neighborhood that is intended to provide for developments that have existing approvals at the time that the comp plan was done, but allows for those approvals to be amended and still be consistent with that land use. The zoning map, we have a PUD zoning. Of course, the vast majority of the Cherry Lake PD included large lot, single-family style detached dwellings, but also allowed were townhomes, villas, retail, office, and commercial, as well as some boat and RV uses, recreation, and public and civic uses. The PD has gone through several amendments. The first was a development that put a cap of 975 homes on it. The second amendment changed the school site, which was originally intended to be dedicated to Lake County Public Schools, to be dedicated to the city. The Lake County Public Schools is expressed disinterest in developing the site, and so that was donated to the city. The second amendment revised the maximum amount of it went to a net density requirement, and in addition to that, there were significant increases in public lands that were dedicated to the city with that amendment. And the last amendment was just some minor language related to the Perkins School. In the existing conceptual plan, of course, there are the yellow areas, which are the existing residential areas. The green areas are parks and wetlands, and the red is the commercial, and it's a little easier to see on the close-up where the difference between the dark red in the commercial and the pink, which was intended to be townhome. Based on the allowable density for the overall project, there are 229 single-family units remaining and 100 multifamily units, as well as the 175,000 square feet of commercial and 50,000 square feet of office. During the development of the project, the original developers have made considerable dedications to the public with this development, including 2 acres for the public safety complex, which is now the Groveland Fire Station 94, 20 acres for a school, and 20 acres for a park, which were dedicated to the city. And in lieu of the 20-acre park, the city sold 5 acres to the charter developer, the Cherry Lake Preparatory Academy, and the remaining 35 acres were now to be the Cherry Lake Park, or they are Cherry Lake Park. And then the sale of the 5 acres to the school, actually those proceeds were recently reallocated by the city council to be included in the budget for improvements made to Cherry Lake Park. Additionally, there was $100 per home donated to the CRA by the developer. Our proposed conceptual plan, you can see the orange are 35-foot single-family lots, and the brown areas are townhomes. The pink area is where the proposed commercial is, which would front the charter school, and the gray areas are the streets and parking. There's not only the typical street parking and garage and driveway parking, but there are additionally some dedicated, like additional spaces for guests and the public throughout this community. A closer look at the plan, we're proposing 71 townhomes, 202 bungalows, paired villas, and up to 10,000 square feet of commercial. The units are all consistent with the comprehensive plan, and when you take into consideration the rear loading and the block size and the scale of the homes with the 35-foot lots, it helps to create a more pedestrian-friendly environment than exists in the existing large lot single-family development in the area. A brief comparison of the existing approvals. Today, a developer could come in with a site plan and approve 229 development units, or dwelling units, 100 multifamily units, 50,000 square feet of office, and 175,000 square feet of commercial with only a site plan and not need to do a rezoning. My client, when they went under contract on this property, they're a residential developer. Their intention was to develop something very similar to what is surrounding the project, the larger lot, single-family development. They came in and spoke with the city staff and worked for many, many months, held a community meeting and spoke with many members of the public, getting their feedback and input, the result of which is my client agreeing to meet the city's form-based village requirements and to provide the 10,000 square feet or 1 acre, approximately 1 acre of commercial development. My client did spend a considerable amount of time evaluating the size and amount of acreage that they could have within this project and still make it a financially viable project for them. And the maximum is the 10,000 square feet, 1 acre. Other than that, it would basically make the project not work financially. We believe that the 10,000 square feet of commercial also has a significantly less impact on the community resources, such as water, sewer, and roads. Our next slide is a comparison which shows the existing PD and the form-based village standards, as well as the updated PD. So you can see that my client has agreed to keep the 38% of open space, which is required currently by the PD. The form-based code only has 30%, but it has much more stringent standards when it comes to that open space. Stormwater facilities are amenitized. There's much more mature landscaping that's required, and there's also a requirement for tree-lined streets. So the proposed project now has 80 acres of recreation, and that includes obviously not just the recreation that exists in the park, but also the recreation that exists within this development for the use by the eventual homeowners. The proposed project also meets the city's requirements for block perimeter and parking, which include guest parking. Those are an increase over the PUD, what would have been required. And the project is also rear-loaded. Each of those have a significant impact on making the development sort of a better design than it would have previously been under the PD. It's a more dense and walkable environment than the adjacent neighborhoods. And it has parking that's ample and throughout the development. And I think rather importantly, it will meet the city's new requirements for the streets, which allow for parking on both sides of the street and for a fire truck to maneuver, which is a concern for not only area residents, but city staff as well. A brief snapshot of our trip generation. Comparing our proposed project with the existing PD, if you look at the AM peak, PM peak, and daily trips, there's a significant reduction comparing the two projects. Just 41% of the morning traffic, 30% of the afternoon traffic, and 24% of the total daily traffic, which would be a significant decrease on the impact to the roads in the area. Here is an early architectural rendering. The home builder for this project is Hardison Homes, and Hardison is a relative newcomer to the Florida market that's selling in 5 communities currently in the region, including DeLand and St. Cloud. They have been working really hard and are incredibly excited about moving into Lake County, working really hard to get some communities in the area, including in Groveland. Renderings for the townhome are intended to meet the city's form-based code requirements because the size of the lots in the rear entry and the stringent code requirements, there is not a product that they have currently that fits exactly, so they have to design new products. So I don't have a rendering to show you what the small lot or the villas would look like at this time. So just a note about the form-based code in Chapter 6. There are very specific requirements related to walls and doors and windows and roofs. Porches and balconies are required. The code outlines color palette and fence and sign requirements, and there are very specific architectural standards that designs that can be chosen. So as a recap, our proposed plan is consistent with the comp plan and is compatible with the adjacent neighborhood. We would argue that the smaller commercial is more compatible with the adjacent neighborhood with the roads that are already experiencing unsafe speeding. The proposed development is a reduction on all of the entitlements, including the single-family and multifamily, and the result of that is less impact on the city and the county's services, including utilities, water, sewer, roads, and schools. The proposed project has sufficient parking, avoiding impacts to adjacent streets, and it provides connectivity not only along the roadways and the green spaces in proximity to and connection with the Cherry Lake Park, but it's intended to provide not only our residents, but the residents surrounding as a way to get to and through the Cherry Lake Park as well. As Dwayne said, we had a community meeting in May. There were about 30 attendees. We heard from neighbors who were concerned, of course, about the lack of mature landscaping, connectivity, and usability of stormwater ponds and open spaces in their neighborhoods. And to them, we offer that our project will meet the form-based code and will increase these connectivity and landscaping with amenitized areas that will be around the not only open space, but stormwater. We also heard from neighbors who were concerned about unsafe streets due to speeding in the residential area, with a desire for more walkable streets for the development, and also, unfortunately, concerns about fire trucks not being able to get through because of cars parked on both sides. And to them, we offer that the project will meet the form-based code and its increased ability to safely provide for on-street parking and sufficient roadway fire access through roadway design. And of course, we also heard from neighbors who desire to have increased commercial areas from our plan, some of which desired to keep the existing plan. And I'm certain that the landowner's many years of trying to market this property as a commercial development is not likely to impact their desire to have a neighborhood grocery store or an office. But to them, we offer that this proposed development, providing the 10,000 square feet of commercial and meeting the city's form-based code, is our sincerest efforts in order to develop a project that meets some of their concerns and needs while still making it a financially viable project for my client. And I have the consultant and my client here to answer any questions that you may have. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Carolyn. The last slide is our recommendation slide. So although this PUD amendment provides different housing types and such as townhomes and single-family homes with unique Florida vernacular requirements that will be different from the existing neighborhoods, due to the significant reduction of commercial, staff remains neutral on recommending approval or denial with ordinance 2025-20. Staff prefers that the residents within the community weigh in on their thoughts on the project and defer to the P&Z board to recommend approval or denial of this ordinance.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Do we have any public comments? Please state your name and address for the record.
My name is William Ryan Reuter. I live at 942 Aspen View Circle here in the Cherry Lake, Estates of Cherry Lake, Crest Ridge to be exact. When we bought into this, we were really looking forward to that commercial development. A lot of the traffic would be contained in the area, being that it's pedestrians or people on bikes, things like that. With the school being there, I know the city's going to do a lot to control traffic and speed. But I speak for a vast majority of the residents there that would really like to have more commercial space. I know that it's not financially viable for this particular client, but that is a very valuable piece of land, especially if it is going to be commercial zoned. With all the houses being built there, we don't need any more, and this is going to be more dense than the houses that are currently there. They're just going to pack in a lot, and I understand there was a small area that was for townhouses, but again, that traffic was going to stay within that area, a lot of it, because of the commercial zoning being the way that it was. So I know there's not many people here, but I speak on the vast majority of the estates at Cherry Lake when I say that we really would like to have the commercial zoning stay part of the plan. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Any other public comment? Seeing none, public comment is closed. All right, we will begin board discussion, and I'll call on each of you. And of course, Robin, I'm coming for you first. We'll start with you.
Do you want me to make a motion to discuss it?
We'll hold the motion for
Okay.
after discussion.
I was asking Dwayne earlier this week about 10,000 square feet of commercial property and what could that possibly look like. I'm thinking like one Walgreens is about 10,000 square feet. And that would be one of the drugstores is on that list. So if you could tell me possibly how many storefronts and what kind of average square footage we're looking for if it is going to be something smaller, mom and pop. I understand that you don't have these businesses lined up, you don't have names and numbers to put in the details and the datas, but if you could at least give us some concept ideas of what you're looking at turning the commercial space into, because like most have said, and like our public comment tonight, this is 90% less commercial space. So I'm curious to see what that 10% of commercial space is going to possibly look like. Is that going to be a couple hundred square feet? Is it going to be more, some bigger, some smaller? Where is that variation going to possibly look into? That's my first question.
Okay, first question.
Thank
Do
you.
you want me to answer now, or do you want to go
If
through?
you could, that's fine. I don't mind if everybody else okay with that? Okay.
Chris Warshaw with England Timms Miller, 1411 Edgewater Drive, Orlando, Florida, 32804. We're the engineering consultant on the site, so a little context on who I am. The 10,000 square feet, you're right, that is about the size of what you would see out of a Walgreens, so if you, or a CVS or anything of that nature. So if you use that kind of as a context, and you can actually see on the conceptual plan, we've got it roughed in on what that would look like. If you take that and you divide it up, you're probably looking at probably 4, maybe upwards of 5 smaller shops. That could be a hair salon, it could be a nail salon, any other kind of neighborhood centric uses.
Anything on that list?
Correct. I mean, but I mean, you think about, you go to a grocery store, and what are the adjacent retails you see next to a grocery store? That's essentially what you'd be looking at on both size and use.
Now, my other question about the space, for parking, and I know that this is commercial outplays, and that, of course, it's all conceptual in nature, but is this portion here including parking for this commercial space, or are we coming all the way down here to park
The
for
way
this commercial space?
the way we set that up and came up with the proper sizing was that we assumed we had 10,000 square feet, and what is the city code requirement for parking, and then we've sized that piece to handle all the parking for the commercial within that commercial piece.
Within this parcel?
Yes, ma'am, that is
Okay.
correct.
1 acre?
Within the 1 acre?
Correct.
So part of that would be parking, surface parking? Okay.
Correct.
That was my question on that. Now, in 2017, one of my big questions was that it was projected that we would be receiving commercial impact fees, commercial permits, commercial property taxes, and now we're looking at switching that all over to single-family property taxes and single-family impact. So I would love to know, maybe not for this board today, but before it's brought to council, some of those difference of proposed numbers of what it would be if we kept it as the existing entitlement, and what those numbers would look like for our future as the proposed entitlement. Because I personally feel that there's a big difference left in those two plans. So I would personally like to see more information on that before this moves forward. We also, one of the things we discussed is that you still have the 2 entrance and exits into the school. So that would be here and here for the future phase. This would be the next portion, correct? Tim, I guess that would be for you or Dwayne. This would be where the next phase of Cherry Lake Park would
Phase
be,
4.
correct?
Oh, jeez. Yes, phase 4.
Phase 4, thank you, Dwayne. Okay, so this would lead directly into here. So your only way in is near this commercial property right here, or through the school itself, which is not going to be possible, correct? You're not going to be able to pull into this lot into the school and to come into here to shop. The school itself would be an exit scenario only, or would you be able to enter into the commercial space from the school from that location as well?
Are you referring to just the commercial space?
Yeah, just the commercial space through the school. Because this here is our, see the arrow? I'm assuming that's going to be our access in those 2 inclusive.
There's another one.
So I'm just curious to see if that's going this direction, are we taking commercial property and loading that into the school? Or through this to go that way?
If you don't mind, I can help you answer that one.
Oh, please.
What's not being shown here is that there's some future plans to the park that include providing an actual roadway that's going to go parallel to that kind of
So
northwesterly
this way
line.
here, kind of
Correct, and so
around?
the
Okay.
discussions we've had with staff is that the intention is that roadway would connect directly to Wilson Lake Parkway.
Okay,
And so then we would have an access directly from the commercial, where that first green arrow is.
first piece.
There's the roadway that connects all the way from Cherry Valley Trail along the townhomes, which would connect into that secondary road. And then the third access point, so there's actually going to be 3 access points that'll connect to there.
north side.
And the discussion we've had, because we've actually gone back and forth on what access to to Wilson Lake Parkway would look like, is that if access on that side road has directly to Wilson Lake Parkway, we actually start having way too many access points on that roadway at that point, and so it's better to have just the one to provide access to there and access to to not only this parcel, but to the school and to the park, as opposed to us having anything directly in there where people are coming down the hill and coming to that intersection that,
Yeah.
we keep where they have them.
And you'd love to assume that everybody would be going to the school next door, but that's not always the case since this is a charter school. So, and I know we've always discussed bus stops. It's one of our big things we see. So I would love to see that a bus stop's not near this portion if this actually goes into that moment, because I know that's up to Lake County and you'll work together with them, but that makes me highly nervous right there to put a bus stop anywhere near that corner of commercial property as well for future, especially if you're looking at increasing it to the single-family homes.
Yeah. To your point, I mean, not that we have a huge amount of say in it, but maybe we can work with staff as this progresses forward, is increasing some of those green spaces that we've got, increasing some kind of standing area that people can stand at.
We
that they
like to
could
see 'em
kind of
when-
force it a little bit.
Yeah, and I don't know if central mailboxes are going to be part of your community or not, but that's something that we talk about often, like utilizing central parking in mailboxes and student safety kind of all together in one location, so.
Yes, ma'am.
That's my main as of right now. I may come back, but feel free, you want to go right on down the road,
Not
Zach?
allowed.
That wasn't a lot,
One and
Robin.
done. Yeah, okay,
At least for now.
all right. Thank you, Robin. Alicia?
It says up to 10,000 square feet. With the up to, is there any chance that that changes and diminishes? Even further?
At this time, the development is going to carve out that piece of land, and they'll work with a commercial developer to come in and actually develop that piece. I can't say if it's going to be 10,000 or what it's going to be. Kind of like with all kind of these codes right here, it's even on the existing entitlements, it's up to 229 units, it's up to 100 units. So like that's kind of, you put a top bracket on it, and then you kind of see what the market will dictate.
So it could be less, is what you're saying?
I couldn't even say if it's going to be less or if it's going to be exactly the same. I mean, 10,000 is a very round number, so chances are it could be somewhat less. I mean, but I can't tell you today what it's going to be.
Okay.
Alicia, I believe the PUD amendment, probably want to take a look at it again. I believe it says minimum of 10,000 square feet.
Okay,
So
thank
they
you.
can go more, they just couldn't go less.
Okay, thank you. I know Robin's question was kind of about the commercial and location to the school, but what is the actual distance between the school and the commercial properties?
It's immediately adjacent, so
Oh,
whatever the roadway is,
Okay.
the city has the roadway next to it, it's immediately right
Right
next
there,
to that.
basically on top
Yeah.
of it, okay.
So I don't know if your concerns about what the commercial would be, like any of the things that were put here would have to follow state laws related to separation and stuff like that.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions for right now.
Okay, thank you. Lindsay?
Hi. I have a lot of questions about the homes themselves because a 35-foot wide lot is not very big. I just toured a 60-foot lot and my buyer was like, I can reach out and touch my neighbor, and they were not happy with it. So a 35-foot lot is very small, and then as far as lengthwise, 120, 100, 120? What are we looking at? Sorry.
It's on the plan. Don't quote me. I should have
I
had that
won't
answer.
quote you, but I will, like an
yes,
approximate.
It's within that general vicinity of about 100 to 120.
Do you know?
Foot lot.
Yes, foot lot. Do you have an approximate square footage of like the biggest size house that Hardison can build on these 35-foot lots, or 35 what?
That's 1,200 if you do that math. And if you can go two-story, 24.
2,400 square foot, thank you. And so, what's the smallest single-family home that Hardison can build on those type of lots? 1,200, 1,300, 1,400? It's gonna be a 3-2, I'm assuming. Okay. So 202 single-family units, it could be anywhere from 14 to 2,400 square foot, and then 71 townhomes and 10,000 square foot commercial. And as our public has stated that they really want commercial, and this to me is just very disappointing. I'm sorry, I just have to say it. The original plan looks amazing. It looks very walkable. this quote-unquote is walkable, but if you are looking at this property where you have a front porch, you have a whatever, your garage is probably going to be in the backside of your house. You are going to immediately go through your house, get into your car, and go somewhere else to go take your business elsewhere. That, to me, does not seem like something that our strategic plan for Groveland is what we want, especially when you have all these other communities around it who are begging for community and walkability and amenities. I'm sorry, green space is going to be a patch of grass, it looks like. If there's maybe a couple trees, great, but that's all I have to say about that. I'm not excited about this. And I'm a realtor.
Thank you, Lindsay.
You're welcome.
Michael?
My concern is for first responders. You say that there's going to be enough space on the roadways to be able to park on both sides. My neighborhood supposedly has that, and I would hate to see a day when a fire truck needs to get down the street. How wide are these streets?
So to your point, any parking that's on-street is located within a dedicated on-street parking spot. It's not just park adjacent to the curb and take up travel lane. So we've got a full, kind of working with the city's form-based code on the proper street typology within each village neighborhood. We're meeting the city's standard for width of the travel lanes, and that's an unimpeded travel lane, and so then any additional parking would be in a parallel parking stall adjacent to it. So to that point, there should not be any reason why a fire truck cannot make its way through the neighborhood.
Thank you.
All right, Carrie?
I would like to second Robin's concern about the financial ramifications for the existing and the proposed plans. Like, I would like to see some kind of cost variance analysis showing the numbers, how it's going to affect the decrease in the commercial space. Another thing, I think there should be some kind of survey sent out to the residents of Cherry Lake to kind of get more of an input, and then some kind of census as to what the residents want before we make a decision. That's it.
Thank you. I have a couple of questions for staff. I want to back up a second. So we're hyper-focusing on this particular parcel, but my understanding is that this original PUD was actually larger than this one parcel. So can we just zoom out a little bit? What is the acreage of the original PUD?
The PUD document.
We're talking about 30 acres today, and how this is a challenge for them to develop, but I want to understand when there was an agreement made that this is what was going to be built, what was the larger PUD?
Can find that out for you in a few seconds. Just give us some time.
You just need a minute?
Yeah,
We'll look that up.
Okay. All right.
Actually, Mr. Chairman, Carolyn, do you have anywhere in your presentation at least an image of the overall PUD?
Thank you.
I know ours zoomed into that specific parcel, but
You know, it was in the staff report that I read last week, so I apologize, forgot that number. So 350 acres was the original PUD, and we've honed it down to 30 acres is problematic, so less than 10%. Okay.
At the microphone, please.
To clarify, we're not changing the size of the PD. Everything else has already been developed. The only thing that we're changing is that we're proposing to change is what is applicable to this last remaining piece. Everything else has already been developed. Like, we're not changing anything else. We're just asking for a change related to the land use and agreeing to meet the city's form-based code versus the rest of the development, which is not required to do that.
Yeah, that's perfect, because that's exactly the point that I wanted to make, is that 320 acres has already been developed, and there was plenty of time to plan for this and make money on those sales. And so I don't know why we waited till the very end to say that this needed to be changed. So one other question for staff. Help me understand what's going on here with the existing entitlements. It just lists 50,000 square foot office, 175,000 square foot commercial. Is that required, or is that up to? Help me understand how it's worded here.
It's, they're maximum entitlements, but there is one wrinkle in the existing PUD that residential on the specific property, the last piece that we're talking about, it's not allowed unless it's above a non-residential use. So that's really the main standard in this existing PUD that needs to be amended to allow the proposed development plan in front of you today.
Okay, so as it is, the residential has to be built on the second floor.
Exactly, or above.
Okay.
It
All
has
of
to be
it?
vertical mixed use in the existing PUD.
Townhouses.
Okay, so it may be that needs to be addressed. But again, getting back to the wording here, the 50,000 of office and the 175,000 of commercial, that is up to, that's a max allowable?
Maximums, right? Yep.
Okay. And there's no minimum?
I don't recall seeing a minimum. There's acreage minimums, but not square footage. Okay.
Yeah,
And we could
again, I'm
read
sorry, I
those,
read
you
the
need to
staff report
actually
Friday,
has the
so-
PUD if that's helpful. Thank you, Nita.
In the original PUD for retail, office, and community facilities, we have 30 acres. Okay. All right, I mean, that's all the comments I have. I'm not in favor of approving the resolution, so. At this time, are there any other final board comments?
No.
Just a question, if this doesn't get approved, then the existing would still be carried through, correct?
It was still governed, correct?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, it'll just push it on to the city council, and they'll
Decide.
review. Yeah,
Okay.
we're just advisory. So, any other board comments? No? Okay. All right, do we have a motion to approve or deny ordinance 2025-20?
I'll give you your motion to approve 2025-20 Cherry Lake Village PUD amendment.
A motion to approve it.
Or, I'm sorry, deny it.
Okay, so can you restate that?
I will. Recommendation of denial for ordinance 2025-20 Cherry Lake Village PUD amendment.
I second the
second.
denial. Sorry.
Well, we got a couple seconds. Okay. All right, well, at this time, I'll call for the vote, starting, who did the second?
Me.
Lindsay? Okay. All right, so the motion is to deny the resolution. So, Robin, how do you vote?
Aye.
Okay. And Lindsay?
Aye.
All right. Alicia?
Aye.
Michael?
Aye.
Carrie? And the chair votes aye. We've voted to deny ordinance 2025-20. All right. Closing comments. Do we have any comments from the public? Okay, Seeing none, public comment is closed. Do we have any comments from our board members?
I just know that Lake 100, not August, but September, their monthly meeting is going to be planning and zoning, just so everybody's aware of that.
Say it again, I'm sorry.
Lake 100 for their September meeting will be on planning and zoning.
You know what date that is?
Yeah, I'll get back to you. I'll send out details, but I saw that their listed calendar of events that came out, so I just thought that I'd bring that up in case anybody was interested. But that was it for me. Thank you.
I think that's like a club, right?
You can,
Like
you
gotta
can go
have
as a
special
non-member.
access.
You can go as a non-member for a small fee.
And we can see you for information on that? Okay,
I will get you details.
great. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Lindsay?
So close.
No, no comments.
It's Friday already. Yes. Michael, Carrie? All right. I just want to say, I'm very pleased. Every meeting, I feel like we're getting a consensus on the board. So thank you for committing your time to this. I think today's an example of trying to give the residents what they want, so thank you. That's all I have to say. Do we have anything from staff?
Just a couple of things, Mr. Chairman, to your point, sometimes, showing up to a meeting does pay off, even if you're just one person. So I appreciate the public sharing their comments and their feedback with us. And I think the residents who came out to the previous community meeting, I think there's about 30 attendees, and we appreciate that feedback. The other thing is I sent an email, I just forwarded it earlier this morning in regards to State Bill 180. A lot of changes going on at the state right now that impact what we do here in terms of planning and growth, development review. I encourage you all to read that. It's something we're going to continue to follow at the state level. Just to summarize it, there is direction from the state down to the local jurisdictions to not approve more stringent codes and policies within the next couple of years or so. I think it's going out to October of 2027. In response to emergency declarations that could potentially get kicked out further. I'm being told there might be a mid-year amendment to the state bill, but the reason why I bring it up is we're looking at updating our comprehensive plan this year as part of our evaluation and appraisal report. We've kicked off that project. We anticipate your feedback and involvement coming up here pretty soon. Along with some code updates that we've been working on, landscaping, agriculture. There's some standards that I would say and argue that are more permissive and give more property rights. There are some standards where you could look at that as being more restrictive. What's interesting is I was with Orange County prior to Groveland. We worked on a new community development code there for it's amazing that it took over 10 years, and one could say it took too long. They literally adopted it and had, after a 10-year period, just about a month ago or so, they had pressure to repeal that the following month in regards to Bill 180. So we don't want to approve anything that's going to jeopardize the city's standing with the state and make sure that anything that we approve is legally enforceable, of course. But as we talk about, the philosophy around the comp plan update with infrastructure, levels of service, ideally we'd like to improve those levels of service for our existing and our new residents. But some of that might be, there's cause for pause, if you will. With some of the changes at the state. So we'll keep our eyes on that and continue to report back in terms of more information and more legal interpretation so that we're making better guided decisions.
Thanks, Tim.
Good, thank you. Mr. Booker?
So, good evening, Planning and Zoning Board members. Just wanted to bring up to your attention that that staff wanted to know if we could reschedule the September 4th Planning and Zoning Board meeting to September 17, 2025. And since everybody's in the room tonight, it's probably a little bit easier to decide what could be an option. Because I understand there was another option beside the 17th, which could be potentially September 22nd, which is a Monday, I think. And so we had Wednesday, the 17th, as one option.
Just so everyone knows, the reason why we're trying to do a rescheduling of the September P&Z meeting, Alan and I are attending a CNU conference, the Congress of New Urbanism. They have a summit that's coming up in Tampa on September the 3rd through the 5th. So we'll be out during that week. So we were just trying to see if it was an option to reschedule that September P&Z meeting for later in the, I think the 17th is better than the 22nd because the 22nd is too close to the next meeting, so.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I can't.
I'm sorry, guys, what time are we talking on the 17th for Wednesday?
We're flexible. It will be normally the 5 o'clock meeting typically, but if you prefer to have it earlier, we can do that as well, depending on if our city attorney is available during that time as well.
I wouldn't be able to be here that night for 5 o'clock.
I couldn't do that night either.
Can you do
That's
earlier
I could
or
do it
not at all?
earlier, but not,
I could do it later, but I couldn't do it earlier. Sorry.
might be
The
missing.
17th is bad for me, so kind of sounds like we should
I
nix
don't have
the
children and I'm a
17th.
realtor. I really don't have. I'm open usually. Sorry.
What we could do, Mr. Chairman, is have Maria reach out to you all individually and
you.
come up with a date that works for you all, and we'll be sure to communicate that prior to.
Thanks,
Great.
Jen.
For me, 17th or the 22nd is okay for now, but don't wait too long.
She got to book that social calendar.
Maria's gonna be like, "What?"
I can
I'd
do
say
the
we should have the
22nd.
goal of having a date certain by early next week, say perhaps by Tuesday if we can.
So what I can do is ask everyone tomorrow, and maybe you guys can provide a couple of dates, times, and then I'll present those to Dwayne and Alan.
Well, we had booked either the 17th and also the 22nd as a backup, so I don't know if that could be an option potentially.
I could do the 22nd.
Fine. 5 o'clock?
Likely 5 o'clock, just same time, just to be consistent.
That's not going to conflict with council.
Because that's the fourth Monday. That
All right.
22nd is the fourth Monday. There's 5 Mondays that September.
I would like to add that we can propose dates, but we still have to check with our parks and see if the Puryear is available. So when we come up with a date, we have to present that to parks, and they will let us know if the date and time is available to book it.
I think, so we do have the 17th and the 22nd reserved here. The issue is if you wanted to change the date, it will conflict with the city attorney's date. So really, that's the only dates that we have as an option. So we just want to get a head count to make sure that we would have a quorum, who will be able to attend that meeting, so.
It sounds like the 22nd is most likely, but Maria, if you would follow up with everyone to confirm the 22nd,
Yeah.
I think that we should suggest that
Yes.
this time. Or we could all go on this fancy trip.
That sounds like fun. Let's all go.
I mean, yeah, I'll take a.
Very educational, good experience.
Done.
The info next week, so everyone has the agenda and all that information.
Thank you.
It could be a good time to explore what is the optimal percentage for commercial to residential when you do development. Because right now, I think as you were saying, it was 350 plus acres, and they had approximately 30 acres reserved for that village center, and the proposed was a substantial change. So, I mean, we did found one paper that was around 20%, but we have to do more research. We don't have any definite amount, and we do not have anything in the code. But at this conference, there's a lot of experts, and we need more studies to see what is the optimal, what is best. But hopefully we can find out more. Thank you.
Thank you for being
Thank you,
flexible
Alan.
on the date, too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yep.
Okay, Anything from Dwayne, city attorney? Maria? Okay. Well, do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Those in favor? Aye. Meeting is adjourned at 6:02 PM.